In this video, let's learn about Cori cycle. Cori cycle is basically body's own way to deal with the lactic acid produced during anaerobic respiration. Well, so first things first, let's start with the idea of anaerobic respiration. Normally, when there is plenty of oxygen present within the body and is getting supplied to the body tissues, in that situation, what happens in the muscle tissue is that you get to have glucose. That glucose gets converted into pyruvic acid or pyruvate, and this pyruvate enters into something known as a TCA cycle. This TCA cycle releases a lot of NADH. They go into something known as electron transport system. This electron transport system utilizes oxygen as a terminal electron acceptor and releases what is known as ATP. So this is what happens when you have plenty of oxygen. But when you are exercising for a long period of time, at that point of time, your muscles are working for long hours. Perhaps you're running or you are doing gym for a long time. In that situation, there will be a supply and demand mismatch of oxygen. Or by any other reason, some illness or physiological condition, somehow your muscle tissue is getting less amount of oxygen. In that scenario, when oxygen levels are low, in that scenario, body switches to something known as an anaerobic respiration. In that situation, what happens? The body gets glucose. This glucose is quickly converted into pyruvate. And after getting converted into pyruvate, this pyruvate does not enter the tricarboxylic acid cycle or TCA cycle. Rather, it forms something known as a lactic acid. As the body senses that there's not enough oxygen to act as a terminal electron acceptor, the body does not goes into TCA cycle producing NADH and going into electron transport chain. Rather, body produces lactic acid and produces energy. This is termed as anaerobic respiration. Now, if this process continues for long, there will be two problems. One, there will be local accumulation of lactic acid that can cause muscle fatigue and pain in the muscles, muscle ache. And if this local accumulation of lactic acid finds its way into the blood and accumulates even further, there are chances of lactic acidosis. Secondly, this lactic acid is a product which is getting accumulated. So this product will eventually can send a feedback inhibition signal and can hinder the process of conversion of glucose into pyruvate and lactic acid. That means the accumulation of the end product lactic acid can slow down the process of anaerobic respiration and hence slow down the production of energy. Already we are getting less amount of energy because aerobic respiration produces a lot more number of ATPs, around 32 to 38 ATPs, in contrast to only 2 ATPs that is produced in anaerobic respiration. And if lactic acid continues to get accumulated, then our anaerobic respiration will get slowed down and our energy that we get in terms of ATP will get even less. To solve this problem or rescue us from this situation, our savior of metabolism, liver, comes into action. Now what happens? Liver takes this lactic acid from the muscle through the blood and converts this lactic acid into pyruvic acid and finally forms glucose. And this entire process is known as neoglucogenesis. And this glucose that the liver produces is again sent to the muscle tissue so that the muscle can utilize it as its substrate to carry on anaerobic respiration. At this point, it may seem that this is a very happy ending. The muscle will keep on producing lactic acid from glucose and will keep on deriving ATP, that is around 2 ATPs per cycle. And in turn, as a savior, the liver will keep on converting this lactic acid into glucose and will keep on supplying this glucose to the muscle tissue. At this point, you have to remember a very crucial thing. Neoglucogenesis doesn't come for free. Neoglucogenesis consumes around 6 ATPs, and that means it is energy-wise very much costly. And hence, this process of neoglucogenesis cannot continue indefinitely. This is just a temporary mechanism of preventing lactic acid accumulation in muscle tissue when there is lack of oxygen. Simply, in this by Cori cycle, the liver takes up the metabolic burden faced by the muscle tissue during oxygen insufficiency. But this cannot go on forever, and this has to stop when there will be enough supply of oxygen, or when you will eventually stop exercising and the muscles will get rest. In that situation, the need of energy will come down, the need of oxygen will also come down, and finally at some point the oxygen demand and supply ratio will equalize, and at that point of time the liver will also recover itself and the muscle will also go back into its normal aerobic respiration. So the cyclic movement that we observed over here from muscle tissue to liver and from liver to again muscle tissue, this cycle is known as the Cori cycle. And as we discussed in the very beginning of the video, Cori cycle is a simple way of dealing with the excess lactic acid produced during anaerobic respiration in muscle tissue. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share this video among your friends and peers of your medical school, and for more such amazing content, please press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Until then, bye bye. See you in the next one.